Welcome back to the Money Mastery Unleashed podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to give you the tools and strategies to help you achieve an early retirement. I'm talking about financial independence, and I'm going to show you the path to an early retirement in today's episode. You see, there's a FIRE movement going on right now with a lot of millennials, and that is to retire by age 40 or maybe even sooner. Now, this episode, I'm going to cover strategies for that. In addition to, I'm going to walk you through some strategies that you may want to implement if you're even thinking about retiring at 55 or 60. You see, a lot of these concepts of retiring early, say before the traditional age 65 or 67 for a lot of people, it's going to require you to start taking some steps today to make sure that you can live this dream, but you have to start making these decisions today, not 3 to 5 years down the road. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what this FIRE movement is, and then I'm going to talk to you about goals, how much you should be saving, what type of income streams you need to have, how you should be investing for these things, lifestyle decisions, and also some tax efficiencies that you need to be considering as well. So let's start by talking about what is this FIRE movement. Well, there's really three types of FIRE movement people. There's the lean FIRE, which is a minimalist, a fat FIRE, which wants to save as much as they can and give up less, have everything, have it all, and then there's the Barista FIRE. I think these are the people that are seasonal workers or part-time workers who just want to do enough to get by. Now, if you're living in one of these three scenarios, or you're wanting to live in one of these three scenarios, you better be saving between 50 and 75% of your income, which is a big chunk to bite off. But let's say you're one of these people who wants to retire between 55, 62, somewhere in there. Well, then a lot of times you're going to want to be saving over 25% of your income if you're going to want to retire before normal retirement age of 65. Now, there's some benefits to these things, and there's some challenges to these things as well. So I'm going to start talking now about cost, insurance, and some value things as well here. So let's talk first about goals. How do we determine what your goals are and what you want to do? Well, you need to consider where you're at right now. Do you have kids? What are your current expenses? What's your lifestyle? And what future costs are you going to have? And there's a lot of online calculators that you can use to set these goals. Remember, you need to keep a record of what you want and how you can achieve those things if you're desiring to retire early. And I will add as well that for these FIRE people or for somebody wanting to retire early, it's very, very important at a young age that you keep your debt under control and in controllable levels so that's not a worry for you to deal with down the road. Now let's talk about how you can build a high savings rate to hit this goal of retiring early. Well, first off, you need to understand what a need versus a want is. You need to really get down on what your values are, and then you need to stay true to that day in and day out by not spending money on things that you don't need, right? Be valuable with your money and use it as effectively as possible to reach your retirement goals. So here's some high impact cost savings that you can look at. Your housing, right? What kind of house are you living in, not only today, but in retirement? What are you driving, and how much you're spending on food? Those are the three big spenders that a lot of people have, so be careful to evaluate those when you're creating your early retirement path. Now, number 4 here I want to hit on is maximizing your income streams. How can you do this? Well, be great at what you do. Get a side hustle. Do freelance work. Maybe you're creating passive income streams through real estate investing. Now, whatever you're doing, just be great at it. If you're great at what you do, no matter where you live or how you live, you can demand a high wage for what you do, even if it's part-time work. So get good at what you're doing. Number 5, let's talk about investing for financial independence. Now, when you're doing this, it's not going to be enough to just max out your 401k or an IRA. You're going to have to take advantage of other investment accounts in order to be putting away enough money for you to retire early. So you're going to be looking at taxable brokerage accounts here. Now, in order to take advantage of this account, you need to be extremely cautious about the turnover, how much taxes are being generated in this account per year. So I would encourage you to look at direct index investing or passive exchange traded funds for your taxable brokerage account. And also, you need to be looking at life insurance. Maybe you're also looking at real estate for passive income. Wherever you're putting money away, make sure that you're doing more than just your 401k and your IRA if you're wanting to have an early retirement. And let's hit on tax efficiency now. Now remember, a lot of these 401k and IRA plans have limitations about when you can access and how you can access the money and at what age. But you need to understand that, guess what? Brokerage accounts, taxable brokerage accounts, and life insurance, those can be accessed pre-age 59 and a half. So if you're wanting to have an early retirement, don't forget to plan on where that money is going to come from. It's not all going to come from the pre-tax 401k or a Roth 401k. You need to be strategic with how you're saving money, with that in mind that you're going to be spending the money before normal retirement ages. And let's move on to lifestyle designs here and some mindset shifts for you. So if you're wanting to have a FIRE, an early retirement, financial independence, retire early, you need to really hone in on what your expenses are. And a lot of people here are going to have to take a minimalist view to their life. You're going to have to downsize maybe what you want your retirement to look like, unless you want to have that fat FIRE that we talked about. Just remember here, find out what your values are, spend money on things that you want to, that you like, that you enjoy, and that bring value to your life. I think that if you do that, you'll get away from materialism, you'll get away from consumerism, and you'll really move on to value-based spending, which is going to be key for you in order to retirement early. Now, lastly, I do want to touch on planning for your health care and insurance needs. You see, most people with an early retirement, they might not have access to Medicare if you're retiring at 50 or 55 because you can't get Medicare until age 65. And if you're needing health insurance, it may be a large cost for you depending on where you live and what your income is. So you need to plan accordingly with your financial planner or on your own for these healthcare costs that you're going to incur before you get on Medicare at age 65. In addition to that, you do not need to forget about, you have to remember to plan for long-term care insurance. If you're going to have a long retirement and you have health issues, that can really cause some issues for you if you're having a 40, 50, 60-year retirement. So let me sum up a little bit about what we talked today here before I close out this video. First off, we talked about what retiring early is, how much you need to be saving, setting your goals, and then tools on how you can build a high savings rate, how you can maximize your income streams. And then also I talked about some tax-efficient withdrawal strategies, mindset shifts, and lastly, we hit on healthcare cost. Do not forget about these things when you're planning for your early retirement. Now, if this is you and you want to help planning for your early retirement, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation with you or set you up with one of our FIRE advisors to help you walk through what you need to be doing to take advantage of every dollar that you have today so that you have the ability to retire early and live life on your own terms. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for more. This podcast is for educational purposes only and may include references to concepts that have legal and or tax implications. It's not to be construed as legal or tax advice. Such information or opinions is subject to change without notice and is not intended to use as an offer or solicitation with respect to the purchase or sale of any security, insurance products, or offer of individual investment advice. Any strategies discussed may not be suitable for everyone. Mutual of Omaha Investor Services, Inc. does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your appropriate professional regarding your personal situation prior to making any financial decisions. Securities and advisory services offered through Mutual of Omaha Investor Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Riser Insurance is not affiliated with Mutual of Omaha Investor Services. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Diversification does not guarantee a profit or protection lost against loss in a declining market. Purchase of life insurance is subject to meeting underwriting requirements. There is no guarantee of an individual will be insured. Annuities are long-term investments designed for retirement purposes. Withdrawals of taxable amounts are subject to income tax, and if taken prior to 59 and a half, a 10% federal penalty tax may apply. Guarantees are backed by the claims paying ability of the issuer and are subject to their terms and conditions.